Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Chris. Chris is from Johannesburg in South Africa. So let's see what Chris has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Hello Christian, how are you?
Fine, how are you? Finally, we've got it together.
I know, oh my goodness, we've been trying for so long.
I know, it's insane. How's it going?
It meant to be today. It meant to be today, for sure.
Yeah, it had to, exactly. And it's a beautiful day here, so yeah. We finally am shedding winter.
Oh, it's winter time in South Africa, isn't it?
Well, it's the end of winter, so we're moving into spring, but we've had 2 cold fronts last weekend and this weekend, and it's been freezing, but I've been checking the weather and I think it's done. So I think we're moving into spring now. I just remember now that back in Brazil as well was winter, like June, July is winter in Brazil. Just remind me now. Sometimes I forget. Yes. So then we've got the same winters. Yeah, absolutely the same time. Yeah. Okay, fantastic, brilliant. Okay, so we're both moving into summer, which is fantastic. So, Christian, should I call you Chris or Christian? But I don't mind. Close friends can call me Chris, otherwise Christian. But yeah, you can call me Chris. Okay, I'm gonna call you Chris. I'm gonna feel like you're a close friend. Perfect. Well, we've been chatting for long enough, so. So, Chris, how's your day been so far? It's been good. Yeah, it's I'm working. It's a not so lazy Sunday, but I'm self-employed, so I pretty much work all the time, which is not a really great habit to have. But yeah, it's good. So tell me, where are you from? So originally, I live in South Africa. I currently live in Johannesburg for the last 5 years. And before that, I lived in Cape Town for 20 years. Oh, so wow. I'm planning to move back. Yeah, Joburg is an interesting city. So Cape Town is the place where you were born? No. So actually, I was born in Gauteng. So the province that I live in, where Johannesburg is in, is called Gauteng. So I was born here originally, and then we grew up in the Free State, which is sort of like the central province in South Africa. And then the minute I matriculated, it was a very small town, so I got the out of there quite quickly. Moved down to Cape Town for 20 years, and then Joburg for 5. And yeah, I'm looking at going back to Cape Town and then overseas. Yeah. I can see we have a guest on our show now. I can see behind you, there's a guest there. Oh, yeah, I was going to warn you. So I've got a small zoo here. I've got 3 cats and 2 dogs. So we're bound to see them all over. Amazing. Hopefully they come to the interview. I'd like to see all of them. Yeah, I think I didn't really see who. I think it was Kylie. So she's quite old. She's 16, and she's still in good condition, but the latest thing is she started meowing constantly, and she's fine. She's just getting old, but so she might start with her little song and dance. We'll just tolerate her. Chris, so tell me about your business. What do you do for a living? So I do a few things. So my main career, I suppose, for the last 16 years has been interior design. I slowly moved into architecture, but I'm a little bit burnt out in that field. So I'm starting to not move away from it, but I think the big thing for me was COVID. We all went through lockdown. And I really struggled. I had a lot of work, but I couldn't do any work. So it sort of made me reevaluate, I think, life a little bit, which I think a lot of us had to do. And yeah, so I'm currently still working in architecture, and it's a big passion of mine, but I'm slowly veering. So I'm doing a BSc in IT. So I'm doing a lot of studying. I'm also doing a BCom law, which I'm almost done with. So so I'm looking at combining technology with construction, design, and ultimately law, and find a way to make all my passions work. A lot of people think it's a little bit crazy, but I love it. Amazing, for sure keeps you busy. Yeah, it's a lot, yeah, but it's good. It's good. Amazing. Okay, Chris, so before we start our journey, William the Magic Box, would you like to tell me something interesting about yourself? Okay, so something interesting, which is probably something quite strange, is whenever I drink water, I have to take 7 sips.
Oh my!
Don't ask. I just one day realized, like I was at the gym and I was drinking water from my bottle. I was like, and I started counting the sips. So even at nighttime, I can be fast asleep. I always have a bottle of water in front of my bed. When I wake up and I drink water, it's 7 sips. It always has to be. 7 is my lucky number. So I think somehow subconsciously that just happened. I don't know. It's weird, but that's me.
You are just giving ideas now for people watching the interview. Imagine if they're looking up at like 20 or 30. Imagine.
Yeah, I know.
My lucky number 3, so it's fine for me. I can have easily 3 sips of water.
You can have 3. Lots of things with 3, actually.
Oh dear!
I didn't say anything.
Neither I.
I don't blush often, but apparently it feels like I'm blushing.
Chris, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So this is my best friend. Amazing. My best friend here is full of random fun questions. I'm just going to play a song now just for us to get a bit in the mood before the first question, okay? Let's do it. Chris, before we start the game, through the journey, if there is a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't want to answer, I always can change, okay? All very friendly.
Okay, good. I'm pretty much an open book generally, if you see my Facebook, but let's see. Let's see what comes my way.
Let's sit down. Let's check it out. First question for you is, what's your all-time favorite band and why?
Oh, that's an interesting one. It's gonna sound strange, and I don't listen to them often. And they're probably not my favorite, but they are my favorite. Is Roxette. They were huge in South Africa. I don't know if they were big in Brazil.
Yes.
But, it was the first concert that I ever went to. So I think that's why, and because she passed away recently. And it was they sort of were at their height around my sort of, I suppose, high school here. So a lot of the stuff that I went through, they were a part of. So I would say them. I don't listen to them often anymore, but it's got good memories attached to them.
Wow. And what's your favorite song?
Oh, there's a few, but it has to be Paint.
See,
I love this song Paint. Yeah.
Funny enough, I was in Holland 2 weeks ago, and one of my best friends, we were at his place, and he was cooking something, and we had the music on, like the channel on.
Yes.
And the Roxette started playing, and we started talking about. I was like, oh my god, their song's gonna be forever. They're never gonna die.
Yeah, and it's strange because a lot of people, like when we grew up, I mean, in that era, they were fine, and then a lot of people outgrew them and would be almost like shy to admit that they ever listened to them. But I think we all went through, I mean, they were big in South Africa, which is, I mean, it's always interesting for me that there's a lot of bands that's big in certain countries and then they never reach other countries. But here they were huge, and they still are huge. A lot of the radio stations still play them. So yeah, good memories, definitely.
Very good. Next question. Next question for you is, who do you count the most for help?
Who do I count on the most for help? Oh, that's easy. So I've got a really good friend. Her name is Saskia. She lives in Stellenbosch. So Stellenbosch is in the Western Cape in South Africa. So we met, she's slightly older than me. So we both went to design school as mature students. So I was, I think, 28. And she was, I can't give away her age. But yeah, we became friends there, and we've been best friends since. So we actually have a call right after this. So we try and have a call every Sunday. She's originally Dutch, and ironically, when they immigrated, I think she was about 7, they were placed in the same hometown that I grew up in the Free State, and we obviously never met back then. So when we became friends, we realized we share this history, but I think I might get a little bit emotional now. But a big parallel is both our moms had a very rare cancer, and her mom passed away after quite a long illness to a very similar rare bone marrow cancer that my mom had. My mom passed away very quickly, so we share that part of, and also our families. Am I allowed to swear? I have a bit of a potty mouth, but we've got the same in our families. So there's such a strong parallel in our lives, but then we also just, I can talk to her about anything and she can talk to me about anything. So yeah, she's definitely been a big solid rock in my life. Yeah.
Oh, sweet. I'm sure she's gonna be smiling right now watching this interview. Yeah. Saying that, what's the biggest difference between both of you, and what's the biggest similarity?
Oh, okay. The biggest difference is I have no filter. I get up to lots of she's more like a motherly figure, and my voice of reason. So yeah, that's definitely I always try for her to get up to slightly more rebellious stuff, and she just refuses. But yeah, but I get up to this on her behalf.
The similarity.
Similarities. Oh yeah, then definitely. I mean, like we're both. I think the strength that we've had to develop through just what we've been through in life, and especially our mom's passing and that journey, and our family stuff. So I think we view a lot of things in a very similar light because of what we've been through.
Amazing, very sweet. Next question, Chris. Let's do it. Actually, today I have a very good friend of mine. He's from South Africa, from Port Elizabeth, and his name is Chris. And I'm going to the cinema tonight. I'm gonna watch a movie tonight.
Oh, fantastic! Brilliant.
Look, before the next question, as you lived so many years in Cape Town, and you've been spent sometimes as well in Johannesburg.
Yes.
What's the best part of living both cities, and what's the biggest difference between both?
Oh, okay. So the difference is quite easy. I mean, Cape Town is a lot more laid back. Johannesburg is all about money, fast pace. So where Cape Town is, I mean, there is money. It's a wealthy city for the most part, but people are a lot more laid back. If you want to do business in Cape Town, you need to give them at least 2 or 3 days to get back to Joburg. Like, you haven't picked up the phone yet and they've already gotten back to you in a big part. So yeah, Joburg is a lot more money driven, whereas Cape Town is more about the lifestyle and enjoying life a little bit more. And then similarities. I think although it's quite different, it's very similar in the fact that there is, in both cities, quite a lot of cultures that come together. Cape Town is obviously very touristy, although Joburg is as well. But I think Joburg, we've got a lot more influence from the surrounding African countries. So a lot of migration happens. And obviously Joburg is the closest, and there's a lot of money, or people perceive it to be easy money to be made. So there's a lot of cultures in both, but I think the mix is a little bit different.
And tell me a little bit about this electricity power cut that's been happening for a while. And actually, this friend of mine, he told me, when he told me, I already knew it, because he already told me about that. Tell me a little bit what it's about.
So, I mean, it's just, South Africa, I don't know if you know the history, but South Africa used to be extremely wealthy relatively to Africa. And in a lot of ways, I mean, power, especially electricity, they used to be one of the biggest exporters and provider of power to the rest of Africa, or a big part of Africa, and quite cheaply. And now, I mean, we've calculated it's actually been going on for over 20 years, which is unbelievable. I think when you're in the situation, you forget. So I think we all have a little bit of like Stockholm syndrome when it comes to Eskom, which is our provider, and it's just pure mismanagement. It's been over 20 years. They started to shift it a little bit now, but there's such strict policies in place in terms of alternative energy being provided. So you're not allowed to provide alternative energy. So these big grids and companies that install solar, they conventionally couldn't put back into the grid. Now it's starting to change, and there's all these ridiculous policies in place. And now, I mean, like the latest thing is that because obviously people are kicking against it, more people are installing green energy in their homes, solar and wind, and now obviously the provider is losing out on money, and now they've got this ridiculous compulsory surcharge. So even if you go off the grid, you're going to be charged 1,000 Rand, which is a lot. I mean, my electricity for a month, and I live in a home, isn't even 1,000 Rand a month. So if I took my whole house off the grids and use solar, they're still going to charge me 1,000 Rand, which is, so it's just completely political, complete mismanagement. And yeah, I mean, like we have to find a solution, because the amount of money that has been lost through business alone. Then we had COVID. We've got a spate of other political mismanagement in this country, which is really unfortunate, because we have 11 different official languages. We have a melting pot of incredible cultures. We have all the foreign influence in terms of tourism, and then South Africa's history of foreign, I mean, it's a very negative history in terms of slavery, but it's brought a rich culture to us contemporarily now. So we have incredible people, we have incredible landscape and nature, but then you have this very negative layer of political mismanagement on top of it all, which just sours the whole deal. I mean, that's why most of us who's emigrating, including myself, is I don't want to leave because it's a shit country. I want to leave because I want a better life and experience and grow as a person in my career and personally, which is unfortunate that you have to make that decision in the end. But hopefully it will change.
Let's hope for better days.
Yeah. Very serious talk. We need to lighten this up a little bit.
No, it's okay. You're just open up about something that's real and it's happening right now. You know what I mean? Absolutely.
Exactly. And it's good. It's sorry to interrupt you. And it's also good to be able to talk about it, because a lot of people either internationally don't know about this, or it's just a cover gets put on it. So it's good to be able to talk about it realistically and honestly.
Absolutely, and it's always it's about information as well. We are sharing information, you are sharing knowledge, you are sharing your opinion, you are sharing. I'm sure people watch the interview, even people from South Africa living in other countries, they might, you know what I mean, agree with you, and they might, you know what I mean, see how the difference is being a country where you need to deal with those issues. And also, I remember back in Brazil as well, when I was growing up, I remember we had those.
Similar problems.
We had those. Yeah, we had those. No, we had those about the electricity cut as well. I remember it was like, it was a very small town anyway, but it wasn't like a county, it was just a city. But it was different problems. It wasn't because of politics or anything. It was just like, it was a very small town, but I remember sometimes we had this power cut. Sometimes it was, I remember like my mom with a candle, we are going to bed, because we didn't know, at the time there was no like notice or anything. So it happened, we don't know what's gonna come back, or but it was like quick, it wasn't like more than 10 hours or 5 hours, it was something very briefly.
Yes. I mean, we've got technology now, but even the schedules that they keep, like, so my neighborhoods, especially in a lot of neighborhoods, because the infrastructure is so old, like in my neighborhoods, if the power comes back on, and my neighborhoods is split in two, so we come on at different times, but about 2 weeks ago, it came back on and we were out of power for 2 days, because the minute the power comes back on, the infrastructure is so old that it can't take that pressure, and then it just trips or something blows. So you have to deal with that layer on top of just the basic irritation of the system.
I see. All right, next question for you is, if you could meet yourself when you were 15 years old again, which advice would you give to yourself?
Oh, not to give a about what anyone says. Yeah. Sorry, am I allowed to? I have no thoughts. Can I swear on this? I swear on Facebook as well. So yeah.
Why would you give this advice to yourself at the time?
I think in gay culture, especially, sorry, let me just put my notice off. I think in gay culture especially, but when you're a teenager, you tend to compare yourself to unrealistic expectations, people in your life that's not on par with even where you are. Not that that is even important. I think we do that as a standard. But we tend to, and I think it's even worse now for kids, teenagers, because they've got all the influence of social media, which we didn't have at the time. But you care about stuff that's not important. I wasn't 15, but a big thing that I struggled with looking back, I met my second boyfriend when I was 22, about 22. He was 16 years younger than me, and it wasn't a sugar, he wasn't rich, it wasn't a sugar daddy situation, and it was just a natural meet. But looking back, all of his friends were obviously 16 years older, and I was in a stage, 22, starting out in my career, finding who I was in life, and I compared myself to them all, having the careers and the cars and all that stuff, and I went through a lot of pressure that I put on myself, comparing myself unrealistically to, and I think that happens at 15 as well, especially in gay culture. You look at all the media, you look at what's, and that's a big thing that I'm sort of starting to try and be slightly more of an activist for, is the whole notion of, we look at something in the gay culture and we judge based on that. I mean, Grindr is a perfect example of that. We not only create these negative stereotypes, but we hold each other accountable on a standard that's not realistic and that's only superficial. So that's why if I was 15, I wouldn't give a shit about any of that stuff. I would focus on the stuff that would make me more of me, the stuff that's my goals and that would propel me forward in the direction that I wanted to be in, and also learn to accept myself much younger and much sooner in life, away from all that clouds your judgment around who you really are and how much worth you have in life.
Absolutely. I think if you have that knowledge at 15, I think would be, I mean, actually, we wouldn't learn a lot, but sometimes if you had a little bit of knowledge, at least an introduction to that knowledge or something like that would avoid some maybe scars or maybe some challenge moments, or maybe something that would prepare for life a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if it were just, which, if we get to my question to you, it will actually, we'll wait for that, because
Ooh, spot. Next question, let's do it. Next question for you, Chris. If you could have been in a moment or event in history, which one that would be and why?
Oh my goodness gracious. I'm not a huge fan of history. No, I think two incidents probably would. I think the moment when the Berlin Wall went down, or the moment, and I mean, I lived in South Africa. It was roughly when I matriculated, but the moment Mandela was set free, and because I wasn't physically there. I think it would have been great to be there physically, because that was the moment that not only changed South Africa, changed the world. So I think that would have been a good one.
Say about Nelson Mandela. In your opinion, Nelson Mandela, for the whole nation in South Africa, he was a loved person?
Yeah. Well, actually, yes and no, because for a lot of the more conservative part of South Africa, he was seen as a terrorist still. And it's purely out of ignorance. I mean, I can say that because my dad, especially, he was very conservative.
Oh, I don't need to get emotional. I don't want it to get emotional.
No, exactly. Because, yeah, I mean, but I think for a lot of South Africans, it is. Speaking about politics and speaking about even the period that we grew up in, for a large part, yeah, I suppose about my age group, it is a very inflamed, still till today, an emotional thing for us to go through. I mean, South Africa as a country is a very hurt country. Doesn't matter which side of the fence you're on. We're a very hurt nation. So I think that moment, yeah, was a good starting point of healing in South Africa. Definitely.
Very good. I remember watching a movie about his life. And because I mean, I, of course, everyone knows about Nelson Mandela, but I remember watching the movie. I was like, oh my God, that's what he was, you know, what he went through and everything. It was very interesting. It was like, oh my goodness. And he was a bit rebellious as well when he was to prison and everything. Yeah. And for me, I was in shock because I didn't think I had the I mean, of course, I didn't know much about his past and history. And I was like, oh my God, he had this period of his life. For me, he was this God, you know what I mean? That's everyone sees in this, you know what I mean, this figure that everyone admire. But it was very interesting to see his history, getting to know a bit. So, absolutely.
No, it's a very interesting. I mean, to come for, because I mean, like, even being on the, and I'm going to call it what it is, on the white side of the fence versus the black side of the fence back then. But I was always more on the liberal side of things, whereas my dad wasn't. So we had that clash constantly. But I think for a black person growing up in apartheid and being treated the way, and to come out of that and become what he became. I mean, not become. I mean, he was always that. But then to be able to step out into that without anger, without bitterness, and become that is remarkable.
Absolutely.
I think there's very few people that would be able to give that level of forgiveness for what you've been through.
Absolutely. Ready for another one?
Yeah.
Let's do
it. We have to lighten this up now.
Don't worry, Chris. It's not about that. It's about, I think the interview is all about being ourselves, express ourselves, you know what I mean? Everything counts.
Authentic. Yeah.
Absolutely. We need to talk about this thing, and people, they don't see that as a negative thing. They just see that as point of views, history, you know what I mean? We're not here to point or judge. We're just here talking about things, what's happening in the world and what we went through. And that's what makes life interesting, fascinating, and that people enjoy that as well. People enjoy to see people being their true self. So don't worry. The light is already here between us. Don't worry.
I'm good.
Next question for you is, what do you like most about yourself?
What I like? Sure, there's quite a few things actually, but I think the biggest thing is my intelligence. Yeah, I've been gifted with a very interesting mind, and I am able to see things quite quickly, see things quite clearly. Sometimes it's a bit of a burden because you sense things and you work things out quite quickly before it is even transparent. But just in business and in life, it's I can see problems quite clearly. I can see solutions quite clearly. I have a very wide interest spectrum. So yeah, it's definitely my mind and my intelligence is one of the biggest things that I value in life. Definitely.
And the opposite, if there is something that you could change in yourself or about yourself, what that would be?
I mean, I'm working on it, but I'm very impatient, and it stems from the previous question, the fact that I have the ability to figure things out quite quickly, and it even translates to technology and I've never really read a manual. If I buy something, I open it and I just, within seconds, I can make it work. And then when people can't do that, I get a little bit impatient. So yeah, but I'm a lot better than 20 years ago. So yeah, so I would say I do get quite impatient, sometimes unjustified.
What's your star sign? What's your star sign, for curiosity?
I'm a Taurus, so I'm stubborn on top of it.
Very interesting.
What's your star sign?
A Scorpio. I have a very...
Oh my God. You know that Scorpio and Taurus are one of the best matches.
Wait, I was about to tell you something very interesting about my history with Taurus, okay? You're not gonna believe. My first love was Taurus. Was a girl. When I was I have three. My history with Taurus nowadays, when I analyze everything, is very interesting because I fell in love easily. I was literally like, I fell in love. I had like 4 people like through my life that I was literally in love, like badly in love, and. Now when I look back, I realized they were Taurus. And guess what? They became very close friends. This friend of mine who is in Holland, I told you now that I was there 2 weeks ago. I know him for 20 years. My first European friend, amazing. But when I met him, I was literally like in love.
Yeah,
but
very strong attraction.
Yeah, through my life, all the Taurus people that I met, I know already. Back of my mind, when I meet someone, they say they are Taurus. Okay, I say, okay, I'm gonna get very attached to you, but not gonna get a relationship. It's gonna be a very strong bound relation, like friendship. It's so interesting. So that's my connection, and that's my history with Taurus.
So to tell you my history on Scorpios, I've been in 5 long-term relationships, all 3 years and longer, and 3 of those were Scorpio. So and I can tell
something about Taurus is they are very tight, very clean. They like everything organized. Are you like that?
Yeah. Currently, if you look behind me, it doesn't look like that because I'm busy packing because I need to move because I'm going to renovate my house. Everything is half packed. But for the most part, I'm very, very disciplined and everything has to be, even if it's just in my mind, very organized. Otherwise, it's chaos.
Yeah, it's very interesting about Taurus and Scorpio.
Crazy. Yeah.
Next question. Let's do it. Before the next question, tell me a little bit what you like the most about your career as an architecture and designer. What's the most joy part of it?
Oh, so it's probably the worst question to ask me right now because I'm not liking my job at the moment.
So, but what through your career? It's
quite easy ultimately. A big part is obviously creating space that exists and that people can experience. I've designed quite a few restaurants and it's a big passion, and that's probably in this transition that I'm going through is a big part of going forward will only be hospitality and restaurants that I want to work on. I think a big part is, on a slightly more serious note, architecture and interior design. It has the ability to change people's lives, the way they see the world, the way they experience the world. So that, I think, is a very powerful vehicle in itself. But I particularly like that aspect of design, that design has the ability to change the world for the better. A lot of my work that I do is sustainable design. So that's a very strong theme and a big part of my ethos. It's not only the ability to change the world from a very wasteful industry to something that's more positive, but to be able to provide a space where people can ultimately enjoy themselves, live a life, even if it's just a moment that's out of who they are and what they experience in life.
Amazing. Okay. Next question for you is, if you were in a circus, which character would you like to be and why?
Oh, in a circus. Okay, it won't be any of the animals because I hate to see animals in circuses. So it would probably have to be a trapeze artist. Yeah, I think the like something between a contortionist and a trapeze artist. I think that skill. I wanted to be a gymnast when I was very little, but my hometown, because it was so small, there was no place to learn or go to a coach that was a gymnastics coach. So I think it would have to be that. I'll have to relive my childhood past or my shattered dreams from when I was a child.
Amazing, very good. Right, I have 3 questions left for you. Okay, Chris?
Okay.
Let's do it.
Perfect.
My God, the time is flying.
I know. Is it? Oh wow! It's already.
It's because we are enjoying. That's what matters.
Yeah, definitely.
Next question for you is, right, if I would ask your best friend right now to define yourself in 1 positive word and 1 negative word, what your friend would say?
A positive word would be very compassionate. A negative word would definitely be impatient. It's the same one. Definitely impatience. Yeah.
And you always been this way, Chris, like as a child, as a teenager, you always have this way of being patient.
I think it's translated or changed into impatience. When I was younger, I think it was more anger because I didn't understand myself. A lot of that obviously came from family stuff. So I made the decision around about my late teens that I would never be like that and carry that into my life. So I tried to not be that anymore, and I have been successful. But yeah, I think the older I get, my propensity for tolerating people's bullshit is just getting 0. So I think the impatience is going to be around for a while for various reasons.
It's in you. It's the way you express yourself.
Yeah, and I think it is a bit of a Taurus thing as well. We are stubborn in a lot of ways.
Very good. 2 questions left. Let's do it.
Good.
You're saying about Taurus that you like cooking. My friend as well in Holland, he cooks very well.
Yeah, Taurians are very good. Well, generally creatively, but I think because we love food. So, yeah.
Saying that, what do you like to cook the most, and what's the most traditional food in South Africa?
Oh, okay. So let me start with. I like to. Oh, there's so many because I like to cook. I don't particularly have a favorite dish.
Or something that you like to cook that your friend love the most.
It has to be baking because I've got such a sweet tooth. So I make this Belgian gooey chocolate cake, and it's super easy, but it's ridiculously good. And yeah, when I bake it, because I live alone, I tend to try not to bake it because it lasts like 2 days and it's gone. And I'm on a huge health drive, so.
I have a sweet tooth as well. The first time when I come to South Africa, I would like to try this cake.
Ooh, yeah, that would be good. But there's so going into the traditional stuff, because going back to like slavery and that whole pollination of cultures, we really got an incredible, rich culinary history from that era. And then obviously even so the Afrikaans boer farmer sort of culture that had a whole massive influence. So I think one of the big sweet things that's very famous in South Africa, it's called a koeksister. So it's a piece of slightly sweet dough ultimately that gets platted. It gets deep fried. They're about this big, and then you soak them into the syrup. So it really drenches up all the syrup. So you've got this sort of crunchy, knotted, plaited, crispy dough with a very soft inside, all soaked with syrup. It's delicious. It's ridiculously delicious. It's good.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh wow! I remember that.
You have to try when you come to South Africa.
Ready for the last one?
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it. But before the last question, Chris, during this, COVID crisis that the world has been faced since the last 2 years and a half, more or less now. For you, personally, what's the biggest positive impact that brought to your personal life, and the most negative one, if you can share?
The most positive one for me was I was in a stage, I went through quite a lot, and I think being isolated, in the period of being isolated, I got divorced. So I really had to evaluate my life in a lot of ways. And a big part of that was looking at the contribution that I'm making to life and to society and the growth. And I've always been someone that embraced trauma and really tried to grow from that throughout my life. But I really had to look at, if this had to happen again, how can I still contribute not only to my own life, but to society? And also then, I think in that period of, well, what's the stuff that remains ultimately that is important? And the things that aren't important. And in a big way, I have become a lot more intolerable of people's nonsense. So I've cut a lot of people out that just doesn't contribute to my life or their own lives. And that's been really good because I've managed to carry that forward and try to inspire and just uplift a lot of my mates and even strangers around me, in terms of, because a lot of us, and I say us as a collective, are still recovering from it. There's still a lot of people that are unemployed. Their businesses are ruined and they have to start from scratch. So I think we're all collectively still in that space of hurt from the trauma of the last 2 years. So I think, and I've noticed that a lot of people are more positive in general. They are more helpful and considerate to each other. And how can we inspire each other through what we do? So that's been a really good thing for me. Negatively, sure. Well, my divorce happened, so that wasn't great. But ultimately, I think, and I don't know if that necessarily is negative. I mean, I've worked pretty much on my own for the last 16 years. I've pretty much worked from home. So I'm used to that isolation. And the negative part through that part was that I was in forced isolation. And it's different if you're isolated working on your own by choice. But if you're suddenly stuck, so I went through a lot of mental health. I really had to motivate myself a lot in that period. And then obviously, as I mentioned, there was a divorce coupled to it. So it was all of that stuff. But ultimately for me, it's spun into a positive. I mean, I've realized that I wanted to collaborate more with people. I don't want to just work on my own. And even if I work on my own, I think I want that network around me where we can bounce ideas off. Even if we all work in isolation, we're still a soundboard for each other. And so the negative actually turned into a positive for me, which was great.
Yeah, you said something very interesting about people got more connected. I strongly believe that as well. I think besides that we were isolated, we couldn't interact with people or be sociable, but somehow I feel that as well, the world they got so more connected. Their value as well now about seeing people, about communicating with people, calling friends, family. It connects more, the bonds is stronger now.
That's and just making an effort after the fact now to go like, well, like, what have we been through? Let's not repeat that. So let's love each other more. Let's become more considerate, compassionate. Yeah, so I fully agree with you.
Last question. Let's do it. Tell us a funny story or a moment that happened to you when you were a child at school.
Oh, a child at school. Oh, okay.
You can share.
No.
You can share both now. Now I'm gonna be curious. Not just me, but everyone watch the interview. You need to share both now.
So the funny thing at school, like, unfortunately, I mean, I unfortunately went through a really, like, 10 years of going through school. I was bullied very badly. So I don't look back at school. I loved school and I love education even more now. So looking back, I don't have many happy memories and funny memories. looking back at school, I'm trying to find one, and I'm sure there must be, but yeah, I don't particularly have.
Last case, you can share the one you start already like coming out of your mouth.
Okay, so this is it's not a very PG story, but I think it's a funny story because very few people have this experience in life. So it's not PG at all. So I'm warning you. So after school, I went to study for a year, marine biology, and I ran out of money. So because we grew up poor, so I couldn't finish. So I moved back to my hometown. Oh, like actually, lots of people are going to see this video. Anyway, you can decide if you want to edit this out, but I think it's a funny story.
If you feel like it's not a good idea, you can say something else. It's fine. I don't want to keep thinking afterwards. You know what I mean? Like wondering if you should have said that or not.
No, I don't care about that. Actually, I'm going to tell the story. So then my dad used to work on the mine. So because the town that we lived in was based around gold mining. So he was very adamant and he found me a job in the mine. So I wasn't a miner per se, but I worked on the mine and I went down under the ground. I can't believe I ever had that experience. Anyway, so I went, and it's a very male dominated, as you can imagine, it's a very masculine environment. I wasn't quite out back then. It was right, I mean, I was 20. It was just before I met my first boyfriend. And obviously at school, I played around a little bit with friends like we do, and experimented. And then one day I was in this, it's called a cage that takes you down into the earth.
Oh, it's getting more and more. Okay.
I know. It's a very homoerotic story. So I'm slightly proud of this. So then, I mean, one day he was quite a good-looking electrician, and I've always thought they were all straight, and I pretty much came across or acted very straight at that time, but I was a twink. I was 20, and then for some other reason, we just looked at each other and I gave him a underground in this cage going down.
Wow.
So I think it's a very funny story. I don't know if I should be proud of it, but I think it's one of those stories that very few people can say they've been through it. And the point that I mean, like that's one thing I've also realized over COVID is I'm in my 40s and there's so much shame, especially in the gay culture and community, around sex, sexuality, acceptance of wherever you lie on the spectrum between gay, straight, or trans, or so. And that was something that was really liberating for me as at all. Like, I am not going to be ashamed of experiences. I'm not going to be ashamed of who I am. And yeah, I mean, it's really liberated me in a lot of ways. So I don't care telling that story because it's funny and it's
true. It's true, real.
True. Exactly.
It's real.
So, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I get so many messages in my DM after this.
No, I think it's this story actually. I think a lot of gay guys, not just gay guys, but like everyone, I'm sure all of us we've been in certain situations like you did that were just two people, you know, age, everything, like the emotions, the feelings, the hormones all like exploding. Why not? You know what I mean? You're having experience. You have experience. And I think people can tell thousands of stories that they went through.
Yeah. And I think the big thing is around, I mean, I'm so sick and tired of us actually living in a society of labels, because so many of us are, I mean, you can't even label something yourself, especially people that's coming out of the closet and that's been trapped in that situation of self-acceptance for a long time. They don't even know how to label themselves. And then society wants to box them into these 5 boxes and they just have to fit in. So I think it's I think an important lesson of not just experimenting and seizing the moment and having fun, but at the same time to accept others and you of wherever you sit on, I hate to call it even a spectrum, but ultimately that thing.
I must ask now, are you still in touch with this guy?
No. No. I still till today don't even know if he was gay or straight. So yeah, I don't.
Ooh, it's getting more and more excited now.
I know, exactly.
I must say that next month I'm gonna reach 700 interviews on the show so far, and
oh, wow.
Trust me, I heard a lot of stories. So
I'm sure. I'm
sure. So these stories is still something unique, but you know, it's
it's sure you've heard it all.
Thanks for sharing. Thank you, Chris. Okay, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking. So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like, don't forget to share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much and enjoy the word association game. Religion.
Ooh, guilt.
Politics.
Ooh, poverty.
One word for love.
Ooh, love. Compassion.
Money.
Ooh, fun.
Family.
Family, unity.
Life.
Enjoyment.
Sex.
Ooh, pleasure. Ooh. Liberation, actually.
Pleasure in the cave, in the you know?
Yeah. You're never gonna let that one go, are you?
Fear.
Fear. Oh, that's a different one. Fear. Anger.
Friendship.
Love.
One word for desire.
Passion.
Regrets.
Failure.
One word for success.
Intellect.
Wish.
Command.
Happiness.
Success.
One word for Cape Town.
Ooh, free spirit.
One word for Johannesburg.
Money.
One word for South Africa.
Oh, Ubuntu.
Say again?
Ubuntu. So you won't understand what that means, or you might have heard the term, but it's a term that Mandela used, and roughly translated means you are because I am, or I am because you are. So it's a collective, and even our legal system has adopted that as a legal precedent to use in how we treat people in society.
Wow, you just made my day now. I didn't know that. Amazing.
Yeah,
I just learned.
Yeah, I probably didn't translate it properly, although I should know this because I studied in law, but read up on the word. It's a very powerful word.
One word for interior designer.
Ooh, beauty.
And the last one now, Nelson Mandela, one word.
Hero.
Amazing. Let's pretend now we're going to meet your best friend for a coffee, okay? And I'm going to ask your best friend, what is the most beautiful thing about Chris, and what's something that he still needs to work on? But I think I know already the answer about work on, but let's see.
We've covered that, yeah. It's I can be very compassionate, but I can be very intolerant. So yeah. That's not same answer. It's not going to change in the last hour. I'm working on it, but I'm not that quick.
Just the fact that you know already is already halfway of the journey of your improvements. That's what matters.
Absolutely.
Let's play now, Chris, and the magic box. You can ask me a question. But before that, let's play the music one more time.
Yes.
Okay, Chris from South Africa, you can ask me a question now.
Okay, so your question is, looking at the gay community and gay culture globally and where you live, which I'm sure is very different to where I'm living, what is the one thing you would want to see change in the community?
Very good, very good. And I'm gonna tell you now. I think sometimes what I believe is, I think we, the gay community, LGBTQ, all of us together, I think I mean, since I've known that I'm gay, I always realized that we are fighting for rights, you know what I mean, to be in a better place, to be recognized as everyone else, to be equal, yeah? But what I believe is sometimes, I understand it's about personality. Some people, they want to express themselves, they want their rights, they want, you know what I mean, to be recognized, and I understand that, and I totally understand. I think all of us, we need to be, live in a world where the rights, they're all equal, everyone should be the same in everything. I understand that, but what I think, two things. The first one is that if you're gonna approach that with anger, with hate, or if they are like treating us this way, like with hate, or you know what I mean, badly, I think we should try to find a way not to fight back the same way, because if we do that, I think we are kind of put ourselves in the same level as them, and they're not gonna see us. We are very fragile because of the world we live, and they're gonna find opportunity to kind of fight back against us, if you know what I mean. So what I believe is, I understand we need to fight against things. Of course, we get upset, we get nervous, we get angry about things, what's happening. But I think we should, including myself, find a way to, you know what I mean, to fight back in a way that they, not to make ourselves equal the way they are hating or they are judging us. Let's fight in a different way. Let's try to find a different way for us to show them that we are not the same level. We are just looking to be treated equally. So that's something that I see. Again, of course, I think sometimes you need to scream louder for them to be heard. I understand that. I totally understand. I'm aware of it. And again, the other part of my answer to you is, sometimes I think that again, back to the apps, when you are dating or meeting people just for pleasure, whatever, it's without any judgment. I think we are there, we are all human beings, we are there to enjoy and to be ourselves. But something that's when people express themselves in a way there, that for me, I find a bit unnecessary. For example, all of us, we have our desires. For example, I prefer, maybe we have stereotype that we like, that we prefer, and it's all fine. You know what I mean? I understand that. We have preferences, and it's all good. I think everyone, doesn't matter who you are, how you live, it's about what you like, and it's totally fine. But what something that's for me, it's for me, I cannot understand and I find a bit sad is, for example, when people express themselves in those apps or situation like, okay, if you are this, if you are, let's say, if you are Latino, or if you are white, if you are black, if you are Asian, don't contact me because I'm not into that. I think it's not necessary to put that, because I'll tell you why.
So many times, I fully get you.
I understand that, because the thing is, imagine if I go to the app and I see somebody express themselves this way. And for example, I'm a Latino guy, you know what I mean? I'm from South America. And if I see that, no Latinos, please, if you're Latino, don't contact me. To be honest to you, for me personally, I don't care, you know what I mean? I'm fine with that. But imagine somebody else seeing that. I think they're gonna, you know what I mean? It's already negativity there. And I find it a bit sad when people put there, okay, if you are this, don't contact me. If you are that. It's unnecessary, because if someone contacts you, you know what I mean? If, for example, someone contacts you and you're not into this person, you can tell this person.
You can just tell them, or block them, or move on. You don't have to
you're not wrong if you are telling this person, sorry, I'm not into you because of any reason. I understand that. It's all right. You're totally right.
You're not a match. Let's move on.
But I think if you expose yourself there, first of all, I think you are literally exclude yourself to the world, because particularly for me, if I go on those apps, if I see someone saying that, I even don't feel like contact this person. If this person say, okay, I'm into Brazil, I love Brazilians, I wouldn't even contact this person, just because this person said, oh, I'm not into any other nationality or any other stereotype. So that's something in our society, like the gay society, that sometimes when I see people express themselves this way, I'm not saying that they are wrong, you know what I mean? It's just the way they are, and it's totally fine.
You don't have you put that. Yeah. No,
But I think you, my genuine advice, or maybe opinion on that is, you are just excluding yourself to a lot of opportunities, because other people, they like you, they see your profile, they say, oh my God, that's the person I'm looking for. But if they read through your profile, if they see this negativity there, they might not contact you. They might go like, oh my God, why should I contact this person? Because this person already expressed themselves in a negative way. So my message out there is, if you don't like someone, if you're not into certain stereotype, it's totally fine. But keep to yourself. Keep to yourself, because I think if you spread that around, you are literally excluding yourself to the world, to the community, or put yourself in a place that maybe people they gonna not appreciate that. But imagine those people they might like you. And I know so many stories, Chris, that people, they in the beginning of, they said, oh William, I wasn't into this stereotype, and now I'm so into this stereotype, because they met people that they showed them that's not about that, you know what I mean? So if you put this negative thing, you're just blocking yourself to opportunities in life, to meet people, to meet, because there it's not about just hookups or a relationship. You can find very good friends there, you can find people there that it can brings you a lot to your life. But if you put this negative there, you are just literally cutting a lot of things for yourself. So that's my understanding about the gay community. I think we are in a better place than 10 years ago, and you know what I mean, 20 years ago. We are improving a lot. I think all of us, we are being heard more and more. I think every day we are getting more and more people understand us, supporting us, you know what I mean? But
I want to interject there. I think we're as a gay community, we're in a better place in terms of us and the outside, if I can call it the outside world.
Yeah.
I think from within, we're in a worse place. Certainly in South Africa, like a lot of people see the gay community in South Africa. I refuse to go onto Grindr. I've made a vow I will never go back onto it, because of how toxic it is and how people treat each other here. And you often see foreigners, and you start chatting to foreigners on this app, and they're very different. Or you travel to the UK or wherever, and you're on the app there, and you just see how people treat each other differently. So we have that experience here, and it's a general statement, and there are a lot of great guys out there. But I think we've moved on from how the outside world is treating us. I think we treat each other a lot worse than we have before.
I understand, absolutely. I think it's again, we've because the world is so fast right now, things is going so fast, and sometimes we are you know what I mean, we are losing that beauty of connecting more deeply with people, beauty with meeting someone, including myself as well. I'm not excluding myself, including myself.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I'm going with the flow as well, and sometimes I try to watch myself, I try to maybe change myself, but I understand I'm not excluding myself of the you know what I mean, this. I'm including myself. Sometimes everything goes fast and fast, and we are just like going and understand. But I think let's just step back a little bit and understand that we are not just gays, but we are all the same. We are all the same, you know what I mean?
But I think you've touched on that point of connection. Like, so even a lot of people here is previously, I really found the idea of going to gay bars, not just a drinking bar, but like what would be a proper term for them? Like, I don't really want to call them sex clubs, but I suppose
a cruising club.
Exactly, yeah. So there's a big movement where people won't go into Grindr anymore, but they'll rather go to a cruising bar where there's a bar, and a lot of people don't even have sex. They just go and have a drink at the bar, go sit in the jacuzzi maybe, and just chat to guys and get to meet people. So I think that's a big thing that technology and social media has done. Is previously we could go to a bar, you could be flirty, and you would meet some great guys, and you could have great conversations and make friends. Now the equivalent is Grindr or Tinder or whatever you use. And I think if you don't just want to hook up, like that whole connection experience is missing. So, and I think that's definitely, hopefully it will come back with COVID being gone and all that. that we have those opportunities of meeting each other face to face again and make great friends.
And even though, if you'd like still to carry on, you feel more comfortable on those apps as well, absolutely fine.
Of course,
but absolutely, but the thing is, express yourself maybe in a way that maybe you're not gonna, make someone maybe sad, or maybe you're not, actually, let me put this a different way, maybe express yourself in a way that not exclude yourself from the words, or not exclude yourself from the community that's there. You know what I mean? You can literally meet good people, you can make friends for life, you can meet experience, you can have a good sex experience as well. Do you know what I mean?
Of course. Yeah,
so, absolutely. So I think all of us, whatever you do, whatever you go, you know what I mean? Try to express yourself in a way that you're not exclude yourself to the words. That's what.
Exactly. I fully agree.
Chris, did you have a good time?
I did. It was fantastic. Like, I mean, we could go on for another 2 hours easily.
I know, easily.
I'm having a lot of fun. Yeah, that's great.
A Scorpio and a Taurus talking can go forever.
I know, exactly. Yeah.
Chris, by the way, thanks so much for taking the time for the interview.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to meet you.
No, it's amazing to connect with someone who expressed themselves, and you know what I mean, as you said, talking about your experiences in life, and I think that's fascinating. And I think people, we are here for that. We are here for sharing stories. We are here for connect with people and see that we are normal. We are simple. We are just here to connect with the world, sharing stories. Thanks so much.
Well, I want to thank you for obviously. I mean, we've been trying to get onto it for so long, and I'm glad we persisted. But thank you for getting me onto, obviously, the show. But at the same time, you do incredible work. I think highlighting different cultures, guys in their environments and what they experience on a day-to-day basis, it's an important message, and I think it goes a long way in terms of people seeing how we all live and how we think and tolerate each other and build compassion for each other ultimately. So thank you very much for that.
No, thank you. I'm the grateful one. I think it's every interview, every person that I connect with, I feel the most happy person in the world, because I think those people, my guests, they are literally trusting myself to let me go into their house. When I say house, I mean their house here, house here. They're literally open their house for me, and I think I'm very grateful for that. Chris, before you go, I would like you to share a positive message or something that you live by.
So there's a quote by Winston Churchill that's quite. I mean, like I've been through quite a bit since my mom passed away, and so if you're going through hell, keep going. So I think it's a very strong message when, especially I think in the times of COVID and coming out and people going through despair at the moment, is in those moments of hardship. That's when you ultimately find yourself. That's how you grow. And it's often just pushing those 2 extra steps that get you out of it into something that you just didn't expect ever. So I think that's a very, I think about that often when I go through hardship and go like, just keep going a little bit longer, a little bit further, a little bit, and you'll get there. So that's my message.
Absolutely, keep going, because nothing is going to be forever. You're going to go through that, and you're going to realize that better days will come, and it's always like that.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Say hello to your friend now. Say hello when you call her. Say hello.
I will. I'll speak to Saskia. And I'll tell her once you air it. I will definitely tell her to watch.
Take care. Have a nice weekend. Okay.
Thanks so much for the time. Have a good one. Cheers. Bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.